Hi there, welcome back to the Garden of Epiphany, a women's health and wellness oasis. I'm your host, Raven Epiphany, and I'm so glad you decided to join us for another video. So we are continuing and really starting off our Natural Remedies series. Last week, I kind of gave us an introduction where I talked about listening to your body. I believe this is one of the major keys in order to get the most out of the rest of the things we will share in this series. And so we're going to be talking about how to treat certain conditions and symptoms using natural remedies. Two scriptures we're going to focus on today are Genesis 2:3, and it says, this one you probably heard before, I'm sure. It says, then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made. So obviously God didn't need rest, but he set that example for us. And so we should be following his example, not just resting on the Sabbath, which we are, commanded to do on, taking one day out of the week to rest, but also on a regular basis, taking that time to rest, to sleep, and ideally get good quality sleep. The second scripture we'll look at is Psalms 4:8. It says, I will both lie down in peace and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. And so, like I said, though it may be tempting to cut your sleep short when your to-do list is long, or when you want those extra minutes of me time, or for any other reason, when you want to kind of create more hours in the day, however you want to call it, that should not be our first, course of action, cutting our sleep. If anything, our sleep should be very protected. When we trust God, not only do we follow his ways, i.e. what he said with him taking a rest, but we also are at peace to sleep when it is time to do so, knowing that he, meaning God, will remain sovereign and keep us safe while we rest. That is what that scripture says to me. There's a level of peace and faith that comes with being able to step away for rest, trusting that all will be well when you wake up. And so now let's dive into how you can get better quality sleep, as well as how you can remedy insomnia if that is something that you are struggling with or that you ever struggle with. So sleep is kind of like our body. I would compare it to rebooting your computer. And so it's like where your body refreshes and where system updates happen. And so while we sleep, our body performs many crucial processes tied to brain function, emotional well-being, weight maintenance, immunity, and bodily systems such as cellular restoration, muscle repair, protein synthesis, tissue growth, hormone release. And if you're a lady, that's, super important for us. I have some tips for you for getting better sleep overall. And with this series, I'm really trying to keep our videos short. So let's see how I do, y'all. So the first thing I would say is to aim to sleep 7 to 9 hours each night. And so 7 being the minimum. I know this can be a struggle if you're a person who has been squeezing your sleep into 4 or 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours, but do your best and really make a, intentional effort to sleep at least 7 hours a night, if not up to 9 hours. And you will see what your body needs just based off of, whether you're energized when you wake up, whether you feel like you need to go back to sleep. You will see where your body falls, and it may even change, over time based on your age, based on your schedule, based on how much energy you're putting out, etc. But again, minimum being 7 hours. The second thing is to standardize your sleep time. And I put a note here, it said, take it back to the school days. So, back when we had bedtimes, we had to wake up at a certain time in order to go to work back then it was to go to school. You want to standardize your going to sleep time and your wake up time, even on the weekends. And so even if you want to sleep in on the weekend, I would say don't let it vary more than like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But you want it to be as close to, regular as possible. And I would say I was doing so well with this, like going to bed at a certain time and waking up at a certain time. I'm still pretty good about the waking up part, but the going to sleep part, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, I've been struggling a little bit. But we're gonna, if I'm saying this to you guys, I'm definitely going to be implementing intentionally into my life to get things right, okay? So the next thing you want to do is stay away from screens before bed. That includes your phone, your tablet, your TV, whatever, blue light screens that you have, because our bodies respond to blue light as if it's daylight outside. And so we have what's called our circadian rhythm, which, when our body sees sunlight, it kind of, signals to it that it's time to wake up. It's waking hours. And then when the sun goes down, it signals to our body, okay, it's time to wind down and, you know, get ready for bed. And so if we are on our blue light phones, it's kind of tricking our body into thinking that it's daylight hours and that we need to stay up longer. And so I would recommend trying to wind down screen free before bedtime. The recommended time is actually 2 full hours, y'all. But I know that a lot of people work, they're busy, you know, whatever else. And so they don't have whatever time that they would like to spend on their phone. So even if you can't do 2 hours, at least 30 minutes off of your phone, I would say implement that, you know, sooner than later. If you're like, well, what am I going to do for 30 minutes to 2 hours, you know, without my phone? You can read, you can journal, you can play a game, you can count sheep, you know, bring that back, right? And amongst, you know, other things, do a puzzle, whatever it is that helps you to wind down without your phone, okay? Without your phone, without your TV, without your tablet, whatever other blue light. You want to set a regular do not disturb pattern on your phone so that notifications do not interrupt the flow of your sleep. There are, you know, a lot of great features on the iPhone now. I know when I first started this process of being intentional about my sleep, I would have to literally set an alarm to turn my phone on do not disturb, you know, in order to be able to sleep. And then there was a time before that when you couldn't even turn your phone on do not disturb. So there are definitely some wonderful, you know, features if you have an iPhone. Sorry to Android people, you know, you need to switch over anyway, but that's neither here nor there. If you have an iPhone, you can not only set your bedtime where it'll give you a notification that it's time to wind down. You can also set a specific alarm on your phone where it literally lets you set the amount of hours you want to sleep. It shows like what time you're going to bed, what time you're waking up, and it will automatically correspond with your do not disturb time, which is awesome. And you can also in the background set a separate do not disturb time if you want your phone to be on do not disturb for longer than the time that you plan to sleep. So I know for me, especially when I was going back and forth to work, I wanted my phone to be on do not disturb for at least like another hour and a half after I wake up, so that I can be focused on doing my devotionals, getting my day set, you know, getting my mindset right before I started my day without necessarily having notifications coming at me. And so that's something I would definitely recommend. So again, that's setting the bedtime in your actual alarm system. It's a great way to regulate that sleep schedule and to correspond with your do not disturb, and also setting a specific do not disturb schedule so that your phone is not dinging when it's time to go to bed or while you are sleeping, and also not interrupting you with blue light, which makes you think that it is daytime. And so the next thing is to turn the lights off and get comfy. And so do not sleep with lights in your room. I know I used to be a person that loved to have a nightlight in my room, but once I realized, or once, you know, I read that that wasn't great for your sleep. You can get better quality sleep with a dark room in a quiet space, or, you know, I'll give you another tip as far as the noise in your room, but you want it to be a dark, quiet place. If your 7 to 9 hours falls during daylight hours, so let's say, you know, you have to work a night shift or something like that, then I would recommend getting some blackout curtains so that you are able to maintain that dark room throughout the time that you're supposed to be sleeping. And you want to make sure that your bed, your pillows, your comforter, etc. is comfortable for you so that you are getting, again, good quality sleep. You can set the atmosphere. And so some people, silence does not, you know, is not necessarily the best for them, or they need some extra help in order to, you know, get good quality sleep. And so rain or thunderstorm sounds can be great, or white noise. So they have, like, you know, things on YouTube or even on Apple Music or probably on Spotify. I don't know how to use Spotify, but where you can listen to just white noise. White noise is like the washing machine going, or like when your TV is on but you don't hear the actual noise, you just hear like that static sound. That's white noise as well. A vacuum sound, etc. Those are things that you can play that, you know, will help you to fall off to sleep for some people. And then the last thing, this is not something you want to do before bed, but getting exercise daily will help increase the quality of your sleep. And so I definitely recommend incorporating some sort of exercise into your daily regimen, which you should be ideally doing anyway. I know we say exercise 3 to 5 days a week, but even just getting some small exercise in can help increase the quality of your sleep. So for those who are like, yeah, I want better quality sleep, but I need to attack the fact that I can't even sleep first, I have some tips for you that hopefully will help you to shift in the right direction and start getting off to sleep and staying asleep throughout your 7 to 9 hours. And so first thing, What is insomnia? Insomnia is when you find it hard to fall asleep or to stay asleep, or you end up waking up super early and not being able to go back to sleep. So this is not for people who, regularly wake up at 5 a.m. and, just continue their day. This is like you went to bed at 12 and you woke up at 3 and you couldn't go back to sleep after that type of thing. Whereas you're waking up like way before it's time for you to wake up. Before I go into the common physical causes, I do want to say that insomnia can also have spiritual roots, and so you also want to examine, what's going on in your life spiritually. If you are dealing with not being able to sleep, not being able to stay asleep, etc., that is definitely something to examine. I won't go too deep into that here because this is here to give you the natural remedies, but I just wanted to pinpoint that so that you can go off and do research if you think that this could be a spiritual thing and not just, something off balance with your body. And so common causes as far as physical, causes of insomnia are stress, a shift in your schedule. So if you just finished traveling and you're jet lagged from being in another time zone, or if you have a work schedule that has changed, you were working a night shift and now you're working a day shift, or any type of thing like that. Not setting good habits for sleep. So not doing the things that I mentioned before can kind of cause insomnia. If you are on your phone constantly, before it's time to go to bed, or you're trying to sleep with the lights on or the TV on, or your body can't figure out what times you're going to bed, what time it's time to wake up. These are things that can possibly cause insomnia. Eating too much too close to bedtime. So I know, those who have tried to diet, I've heard people say, stop eating before, 6 or 7 or whatever else. This is more so tied to eating too much too close to bedtime, whatever your bedtime is. And so it's recommended to have your heavier dinner meal, hours before it's time to go to bed. And if you want to eat something else, to have a light snack. Because if you are eating too much before bedtime, you may experience fullness, like that uncomfortable fullness, heartburn for some people, and just overall discomfort because your food hasn't had a time to digest before it's time to go to bed. And then the last thing is other medical conditions or medications may cause insomnia. So actually, that's not the last thing. There's 2 more. Caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. So these 3 definitely are not great for your sleep. If you're drinking too much caffeine that's meant to keep you awake, it's definitely going to affect your sleep. Nicotine itself is not good for your sleep, and you should be cutting that out anyway. And then alcohol, even though, if you have drank before, you may find that you fall asleep quickly. Alcohol is not great for staying asleep, and so you still may experience some insomnia. And lastly, for the ladies, hormonal shifts may be a reason why you're experiencing insomnia. And so this could be from your menstrual cycle. You may notice that you deal with insomnia during one part of the month. And then this also is something that women who are going through or have gone through menopause may experience, and this may affect your sleep. And so on to the remedies. In addition to just overall incorporating regular patterns, regular practices for better sleep, these are some things you can do if you're noticing that your sleep is off and you need to remedy it. So avoid or limit your naps so that your body is tired when it's time to go to bed. Eat earlier and only have a small snack before bed if needed, as mentioned before. And so some snacks that are recommended are almonds or walnuts, kiwi or bananas, and tart cherries. There's more that can be recommended, but especially the last 3, kiwi, bananas, and tart cherries, have magnesium in them, and magnesium is what helps our bodies to produce melatonin, which is what helps our bodies to fall asleep. And so these are great snacks to have before bed if you are having trouble falling asleep or even staying asleep. You can incorporate supplements or essential oils. And so I love a good essential oil. And so the one that I would recommend, there's definitely more that you can get, but lavender is a great one to do. I would recommend putting it in your diffuser and letting it just fill up the room. Not only does it smell wonderful, it's set like a spa-like atmosphere, but it will also help your body to calm down, and it'll kind of set the tone for sleep. And I will also list a few more of the essential oils that you can explore if maybe you don't like the smell of lavender, you're allergic to it, or you just want to have a variety of options. I'll put a link to something with a longer list of essential oils. The next thing is you can take a supplement of melatonin. And so melatonin is a sleep hormone that is released to let our body know that it's time to sleep. It's usually released, kind of like I talked about earlier with our circadian rhythm, when the sun goes down and it's nighttime, you know, our body starts releasing melatonin to let it know that it's time to go to bed. But you may be experiencing, you know, where you are not getting that release, at least not to the amount that it should be. Maybe you're magnesium deficient or whatever else. But either way, you can grab a melatonin supplement, and they come in pills, they come in gummies, they come in powders, they even come in topical lotions. And so you have a variety of options that you can choose from, but I would recommend choosing one brand and sticking with it because the dosages and the formulations may vary between different brands. And so once you find one that you like, you want to stick with that one. You don't want to buy one today and then try the one the next time, because it will not necessarily be the same experience. The last one I mentioned earlier is magnesium. And so this is something that should already be a part of your diet. You know, check out our vitamins and minerals series if you want more information on, you know, how to get it, what foods it's in, etc. But magnesium helps to calm the mind and the body. And like I said earlier, it regulates melatonin production. And so you can also find specifically magnesium supplements with melatonin or vice versa. And so that's definitely, you know, a way to kill two birds with one stone. Last thing I would recommend is having a nighttime beverage. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of these people that, you know, likes to go this route, but I do know people who swear by it. You can grab some warm milk and honey, or you can grab some tea, specifically some chamomile and or lavender tea. Again, for the same reasons mentioned earlier, that it will help your body to wind down and actually, you know, let it know that it's time to go to sleep. So I hope that this video helped you. I hope that you are able to implement some of these things even starting this week so that you can start getting better quality sleep. If you haven't already, please like this video, share with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. Good night, sleep tight, have a healthy and wholesome week.